Orion Skymaster 8-inch.
Skymaster 8-inch. Okay. Now that's got to be is that a Schmidt-Cassegrainian or Newtonian?
No, Newtonian.
Newtonian. You having trouble getting it set up?
Sort of. The last time I had it set up, the rack and pinion focuser was slipping a lot.
So is it is it motor drive or is it just
yeah, well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that's wrong with it. A long time ago, when I had it first set up, before I really knew how to use it, I think I may have burned up the motor on it.
8-inch Orion Skymaster Newtonian. So
Sorry.
Usually two motors. Go ahead.
Skyview Pro. Yeah, it's got two motors. I'm not sure which one. I just know that when I was running it, something happened and I was smelling ozone. So I just started pulling all the wires out of everything.
Electrons were escaping somewhere.
Yep.
So how old is this unit?
Well, it's pretty old. Probably about 13, 14 years old, maybe.
Okay.
In great shape, except for the focuser and the motor. I've never tried to hook up the drive on it since. It has the go-to on it and all that.
Now, can you see us, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're wearing a Stand Up for Science.
Right, right. So you don't have your video on?
No, I'm eating dinner. You guys don't want to see me eat dinner. It's
okay.
It's not
that's cool.
That's what you're eating.
That's cool.
So,
Jerry,
without seeing it or something, I don't think we can do much. The fact that you smell ozone means that something was arcing. So it wasn't a short so much as it was a short through an arc through the air. So.
Yeah, I think I had something locked down and the motor was like trying to go and it couldn't.
Yeah. So you're going to need to run it again to do some diagnostics on it. See if it's still bad without locking the motor down.
And make sure the balance is good on the telescope when you balance it out. That could reduce the load on the motor if it's, if you keep the balance good. Let's see, I'm going to try to find.
Who makes that scope again in the mount?
It's Orion.
Orion, they don't make things, they just sell
them. They have the same manufacturer as the Celestron, huh?
Well, they sell Celestron stuff.
Yeah, they sell Celestrons.
Yeah.
In fact, when I called them about getting a replacement part for it,
yeah,
they said, well, we sell tripods. And I said, yeah, I know, I have a tripod. I don't need a tripod. I just need the component that I burned up. Well, we sell tripods.
Yeah.
So I'm not spending another $600 on a perfectly good tripod. I just need the motor.
Okay, $600, that pins it down. That's basically a Vixen design that they didn't patent and everybody has copied it. So I have one of those too, and I have had trouble with the drive. But it's not in the motor, in my case, it's in one of the two electronic modules. Probably the one that's on the telescope side or the stand, the tripod. Is that the scope you got there?
Yep, that's the tripod.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
So which motor is it, the RA or the declination?
I have no idea.
So the one that points towards north, the one that goes lined up with north and south, that'd be the RA. Or
yeah, that's the one you see on the bottom there.
No, I know the difference. I drank a lot back in those days. So, I was running it one night when I was drunk, and it was before I realized, again, about the balance and all that kind of stuff. My girlfriend put it together for me. And when it was a surprise, I came home from work and it was all assembled and everything. And I was just using it manually. And then I think the second time I tried to run it with the motors and everything, either she hooked it up wrong or we did something wrong to it, and then it wasn't moving, and I started to smell that ozone smell, and I just
I
started.
have the same type of thing on my Super Polaris mount. And it's probably, well, it could be the motors, but mostly the thing that goes wrong is that box that's down on the north polar leg of your tripod.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that box. And then that is where the components are. And if you smoke something, it's in there.
Uh-huh.
The hand controller is a software item, and you can muck that up. It scrambles its own brain a couple times, and I've done that. And then you have to go to Orion and download the new firmware package for it.
Wow.
So it's a real headache. I'm getting rid of that system from myself. It's worked fine sometimes, but then when it goes bad, it's just a headache.
You could probably try to find parts. You could ask people on cloudynights.com forum and see if someone knows how to repair those things. Or you might even find an article about someone already repairing a telescope like that and what they went through.
Yeah, Cloudy Nights Forum is an excellent source to look up, troubleshoot your mount, ask people what they're doing.
Oh. Well, I should probably put it all back together then and find out actually what's wrong with it before I try and fix it.
Yes.
If you're clever, you can use a multimeter and check resistances of the wires going to the motor, I guess, and see if you can see how.
You don't know what the value should be, and when you test something with a multimeter, the multimeter doesn't really have a high input resistance, and so the multimeter can load the electronics and then give a false reading, or sometimes even blow it out. So that's very risky. You need a what do they call them? A very high input impedance meter.
A DVM.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah, electronic voltmeter, not a
vacuum tube voltmeter.
right.
Very high input resistance.
The old types were just meters, and so they used it was like they call 1K input resistance, and so that loaded it down.
Yeah,
the new
something that's in 100K to a meg.
Yeah, right, meg. Yeah.
So I mean, to do new digital meters, you can put them on the high resistance setting. I mean, like the 10 meg ohm resistance setting.
It depends on the voltage divider that they use. That determines the load.
It's got to be built specifically for high input impedance. And then you need a chart to tell you what the expected voltage at each point is in there. It's not going to be obvious from looking at the circuit.
I'm thinking that if you take a motor, you have 2 leads coming off the motor. Of course, it's probably DC. You might have 4 leads. I don't know, but you could check the resistance. Just if you take them from don't go near the electronics box, but just the leads off the motor itself, and look for resistance going through the motors.
Yeah, that would tell you if you got a short.
Or an open, perhaps.
Or an open.
We don't know whether this is a stepper motor or a regular electric motor, do we?
I think it's a DC motor.
So it's old. It's 10 to 14 years old. So it's Orion.
That's fine. They haven't changed anything in the meantime. Do they tell you on that website? Do they tell you what the type of motor is?
Probably not. I'll take a quick look. Let's see where was I? We're here. Sure.
I doubt it. They don't have a lot of technical information.
No, they don't.
Even in the assembly manual, which I've lost.
Generally, you can find the manuals online somewhere. Even right
Right.
here, you might be able to find it on a website like this, optcorp.com, and optical design mag. It doesn't say about. It's computerized. Let's see. 8-inch. Go to. Let's see. Oops. I go
Usually
to,
the motors will have a part number on there. Many of them do because they buy it from like Mitsumi or some other Japanese or Chinese. There's usually a part number on the motor somewhere.
Was that website Cloudy Skies or Cloudy Nights?
Cloudy nights.
here's a basic mount for Orion. Information on the mount.
Uh-huh.
You can go to manualslive.com, or you just do a search for your system, and manualslive.com. It tends to work pretty well. You do a download and you get the whole manual, and it'll tell you how to put things together. Yeah, I've always said if you read the instructions, you'll become a genius.
Or massively confused. When I got my scope, I bought it. It was a Vixen, which was made in Japan, and my manual was 100% in Japanese.
Nice.
It was a real Japanese scope. Oh, hold a second. Let's take a look. That looks like a stepper motor. Those motors, they look like stepper motors. Okay, so, and that was very popular because that they would operate open loop. You would align it, and then it would know where it was at from the number of steps.
I would think those motors would be pretty tough, and
it could be
just
could be the drive electronics burnt out.
Yeah, that's my bet on what it is.
Which is the middle one, yeah.
Yeah, the box. Because it's very sensitive to how the order in which you turn it on and the order in which you turn it off. And when I scrambled the brains on mine, it was because I stepped on the power cord and it shut it all down out of order.
Another thing too, if you used the wrong cord, it might have reversed the power to the...
plugging RA into...
Oh yeah, that definitely looks like a stepper motor. There it is right there, 4 pins. Okay, that looks like a bipolar stepper motor. Okay. So let's see, what would you do? You could check those to make sure that the motor's not shorted, but it's quite possible if you smelt burning, it probably would have been in the
he didn't smell ozone. He didn't smell burning, he smelled ozone, which is a spark.
Could have been a loose connection.
Could have been.
Yeah. So what you can do, okay, scroll up a little bit. Okay, should be able to take that cover off and inspect to make sure that nothing's burnt there. And what I would do is take an ohm meter and see, basically it's 2 independent pairs of wires, okay? And so 2 should be shorted to each other, but really low ohms, like about a couple of ohms. It shouldn't be a dead short. So the first thing I would do is stick 2 small thin wires into connectors, okay? Very thin so that you don't bend the connectors to the point where they don't make proper contact again. And first short your leads to your ohm meter together and get a reading. Then you put it against those wires and you subtract the difference and it'll give you the reading. And if it's fairly low ohms, it'll probably be about you know, anywhere from like 3 or 4 to about 20 ohms or something like that for a motor like that. But it won't be a dead short. Okay.
Kevin, can you handle a multimeter or
Yeah.
ohm meter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So another thing too is when you first take it off, just make sure that that connector, that's a push connector that can actually pull out, and they're designed to go in one way. There's like a keying type function. So if you find that it's completely off, don't force it in. It's gonna have 4 mating pins that's gonna go around. Don't force it on there. It'll be one way or the other. So, but the question is, I kind of forgot or I didn't hear. Does one axis work and the other one doesn't, or both of them don't operate?
I haven't hooked it up and tried it since then.
Okay.
So I don't even know if it's the RA or the deck.
Okay, could also be a bad cable too, because they're all connected with cables. And if one axis doesn't operate properly, what you do is you swap the cables. Okay, to see if it's a cable or not. Because it looks like, go back up. Yeah, see, it uses these twirly telephone type cables for
Well,
the
here's
motor.
the motor cable.
Oh, those are the motor cables. Oh, okay. Now I see it properly.
Yeah. The phone type cable that spiral, that's for the
controller.
electronics.
Hand controller.
Hand controller.
Yeah.
Motor cables. So I wonder if there's 2 cables, and there is. Okay.
Yeah, one goes to from the electronic box to that housing that shows two connectors on it.
Yep.
And the other one goes from the second connector on that box to the declination motor.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. I can't see everything here because my screen's kind of smallish. Okay. But if I would imagine the short cable is the one that goes to the right of the ascension axis. And if that works and the declination axis doesn't, you might be able to swap the cable to make sure that the cable is not broken. I would imagine that they connect them up both the same way.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, but that shows a different. Yeah, those definitely look like a stepper motor, the way that the body is. If it was if it was a regular servo motor, they tend to be more round.
Quiet. That's a little quieter. Quiet. Where's that noise coming from?
What noise?
It was really loud, kind of a motor noise kind of going on.
Wait, you mean like this? Unfortunately, that's my friggin' chair.
No, it's like a big fan going.
Yeah.
Unless the radio has to.
Well, my fan is going on my laptop. I'm not sure if that's it.
Maybe when you lean towards your laptop, your microphone is picking it up. Hard to believe, but possible.
Let me put something else on here. Let me change things.
Well, it works great manually, except for the rack and pinion focuser. So I was going to try and replace the rack and pinion with the Oh, no, I can't think of the name of it. Circular pond.
I would say if you do open that up, first thing to look for is anything burnt, insulation or components or anything.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna check the teeth on the gears. And
Yeah, yeah. Or belt. Maybe the belt is.
There's no belt in there.
Oh,
there's
there
no
is.
belt.
Okay.
It's direct drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, lots of fun, I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I was going to show you, let's
Look
see, you
forward to
guys,
having solve that next week.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can still hear the fan noise of some sort from, now it's gone.
Oh, is this Venus?
This is Chuck's Venus hiding behind the moon. He probably had maybe half the moon showing there,
Yeah.
or from 1/4 to 3/4 of the moon. And he posted this on Ed Hat, and this is the YouTube. You can see it on YouTube. Ed Hat put it on YouTube, evidently. Pretty sharp little Venus there, not too bad.
Yeah.
And should disappear pretty quickly. It kind of shrinks in size. I'm surprised how dim the moon is compared to Venus.
Well, it's almost a completely new moon.
Right.
So there's
I just thought the moon's surface would be almost as bright as Venus, but
no. It would have to be sunlit for that to be right.
well, there's just that little bit there.
Yeah. No, Venus is much brighter. There it's fading.
Took longer than I thought there. He's got a minute and a half of time there. There it goes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There was that South American total eclipse too.
Nice.
And then I'll show you.
That was another nail biter. It was cloudy until the eclipse happened.
Yeah.
I'll show you my Venus occultation over here, and gotta get moving. It was really windy.
Now, he had better seeing than you did.
Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
I'm using my C11. This is probably 1/4 of the moon surface, or 1/3 of its surface, probably 1/4.
What type of mount was it on?
That was my attempt, and the wind was 20 miles an hour wind out in front of the house here. It was just shaky as heck, and the clouds are coming through, and not a good deal. But I tried.
Yeah, about as good as you can expect.
What was that, Jerry?
It's about as good as you could expect. Very good. Are you trying to move it by hand to keep it better?
Jerry, your voice is really weak for some reason.
Yeah, that fan is taking over the microphone, I think.
Huh.
I don't know.
Thing is, I don't know where my microphone is.
It's probably on the top of your screen with your camera, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
My camera's separated.
You have a separate camera?
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, sometimes they put it as part of the camera as a microphone.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or it could be your laptop.
They're not always the best.
Let's see.
So
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, I bought these headphones with a microphone. Oh, a whole second. It's not in here. Never mind.
Oh, Jerry, if you check the lower left-hand corner of the screen where it says the microphone and it says mute, And then there's an up arrow right next to the microphone and
Yeah.
in that lower left-hand corner.
Yeah.
If you click on that up arrow, it shows you which microphone you're using. You see that?
This is on the webcam.
It says webcam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes webcams don't have the best microphones.
Can you hear me better?
I'm using a pretty expensive Logitech 4K webcam for a couple $100 that I bought, went all the way. So the speaker, I think I'm using that speaker on the webcam. No, I'm actually using my other microphone on my desk. A cheap microphone, separate microphone that I got right here in front of me. So let's see, can I get it in front of me? Yeah, that's what I'm using for my microphone. Probably a $20 or $30 microphone.
Well, when did you get it? If it was this year, it was a $200 microphone. If it was last year, it was a $30 microphone.
I think it was last year or before. Yeah. A lot of webcam costs have gone up, haven't they, this year?
Oh yeah, a lot of scalping.
Yeah.
I've been seriously thinking of. I've got an old camcorder, subsea camcorder. It's about this big to use, simply because it's got a better zoom lens. But that means I have to hook up an adapter, and I might still.
Hey, we got another person. There's Kevin.
Right.
Hi there.
Hi, Kevin.
Let's see.
So I don't know if you which you guys got the email, but this black paint that I have seems to work really well. That used to be anodized. Okay, and now it's almost totally non-reflective except for really bright light. So the stuff might work out pretty good as far as helping to baffle a telescope, especially at oblique angles. It seems to work pretty good.
What was the name of that website, Mike, that you got it from?
It's Culture.
Cultural Hustle.
Right. Yeah. There's the whoops. Where is it? Oh, you know what it is? It's showing backwards. Is my camera backwards?
No.
It's reading right. It's just looking backwards for you.
BLK 3.0.
Yeah.
They've got two paints, 3.0 and 2.0. Yeah, there you go.
The blackest black paint in the world.
So we can see black 3 versus black 2.
Right. I would buy both. And the reason is that black 2.0 can be used as a primer to 3.0. Okay. This really does need a primer for best results. And another thing too is, like I said in the email, you really have to be careful putting it on. They just want you to kind of dab, and work it in almost dry. And
so is acrylic the best type of paint to be using on cardboard or inside a tube? Or
okay, if you look at the videos, what they suggest is taking art glue and mixing it up 1:1 with water and painting that to seal it, and then you use this stuff on top.
Well, what is art glue? What is art glue?
They explained it on there. I suppose if you wrote to them exactly what's art glue, they'll tell you it's probably acrylic or some other stuff.
Let's see. Probably do a search or something.
Yeah. But I don't know if you noticed it when you used to go to Westmont College back in the old ages. Um, uh, the telescope was painted white and black, white on the outside and black on the inside. Oh, this is interesting. I never went this far. They actually sell the black powder too.
World blackest gold. What the heck is the blackest gold?
I have no idea. You're welcome to try it out and see. Oh, it looks gold, but it's, it's probably metallic sheen. Now it's kind of interesting that with the video, they came up with another video on another paint that looks like if you paint it on the right way, it looks like chrome.
Very reflective.
Extremely reflective. So I figured for the amount of money I spent, this is well worth it in a way. If it improves things just a little bit, it's still worth it. Because I was looking at all my eyepieces, and you look inside there, and they're black, but they're shiny black. And for planetary stuff, that's the kiss of death. So the only issue I find is painting on the inside. You gotta, for best results, I said you dry brush it, but getting on the inside's a little difficult. But they also talk about mixing it a 1-to-1 for spray painting, and I'm gonna go try and see if that works. Because one of my ideas is that for the opposite side where my the eyepiece on the Newtonian is, I've got an air purifier, and it's got a carbon filter that's very light and foam, and it's dark already. I'm going to spray that on there and put it on the opposite side so that it makes it even darker.
So Mike, are you still working on your 14-inch COVID telescope, or?
I need to get bearing material. I need to rebuild some of the mechanicals. I haven't touched it that much. We've been having rain up here and bad weather and clouds, and so what little time I've had, I've been trying to take images of some deep sky stuff, and so there are times when you can do things and times you can't. So but what I got to do is I got to go buy Teflon and replace the bearing material with Teflon. I tried using cutting board, plastic cutting board, and it works fairly good, but it's got too much friction. So I've got to replace that. Anyways, eventually that whole thing's going to get totally rebuilt.
You have to build a new observatory for it, right?
Because it's not going to fit in that 8-foot next dome. I'll tell you, I guarantee you that. I've got the GPS 11 side by side with the refractor, and I'm going to be really good at limbo dancing at parties, because trying to get around that doggone scope when it's pointing the wrong way going out the door, man, is really difficult. That scope takes up all the area inside. And you hear
That's
people
what-
having C14s in there. I don't know how they get in there. They probably crawl in on their knees.
Well, you got to set it up once, and then everything else is you got to do remote control after that. Huh?
Yeah, but there's nothing like being out there, making sure things are going right. So,
What you do is you put a camera inside there so you can see if things are going right. You don't have to be there. Put another camera there.
yeah, that's true.
Security cam.
Yeah. But I don't know. I tend to like being out there and just kind of peering through the slit or whatever.
So that's my Ring doorbell. I'm sure that is annoying. We have people at the front door.
Porch
So Bob,
pirates?
what you been working on?
Keeping an eye on Jupiter and Saturn. I did some. I actually hooked up the telescope in the front yard. Did some of that. Did some Mars video with that ASI camera that I have, and it's just the seeing wasn't good, you know. But I started looking around, kind of planning, thinking for the 21st what to do. And I had one idea of going to New Kiama. I looked up Airbnb, and there's a place that rents yurts in New Kiama. And amazingly, they're $150 a night. And I thought it may be kind of dark out there. But then I started looking just a bunch of different online things, and it's been kind of cloudy out there too. So then I had a second thought of maybe going up East Camino Cielo on the 21st. And set the telescope up there, you know, go before sunset. It'd take some energy and everything to do that, but I had one thought to do that. I'd like to, because, you know, from here, I don't know, I'd like to catch those together in a good spot, you know, just get some good photographs. But I don't know, what are you guys thinking of doing?
I think the 21st was predicted to be cloudy. It says sunny here, or I went to Santa Ynez, and it says sunny over there. The clouds coming in late though, and a little bit of clouds in the evening. You know, Sunday might be better than Monday.
Yeah, I bet East Camino Cielo would be clear, you know, down over the hills there a little bit.
Yeah, it says 25% cloud cover on Monday evening, 0 to 25 for Santa Ynez area. Let me see if I can show that. Share screen. Oh, that's another way of going, yeah. So you can see on this Weather Underground, you can see the gray pop up, and that's when it's cloudy. Like tonight, we're 25% clouded, so supposedly.
It's clear
Wednesday.
at my place.
What's that?
It's clear here tonight.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a perfect prediction for sure.
Oh.
But, you go to, doesn't your Astronomics, does Bob go to Astronomics? Does it show out into the future that far? Yeah, it does. Yeah, how do you see cloudiness on 21st?
And that's for what, Santa Ynez?
Well, no, this would be Santa Barbara area.
Okay.
Astrospheric, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Clear Dark Sky website, but a little bit ranged differently and more days into the future with the extended forecast.
Yeah, just that one you guys have on the SBAU website. It's just, God, every night the seeing has just been pretty bad.
Yeah.
No escape in sight, it looks like. So
Yeah,
No, I don't expect the seeing to be very good, but I think the clarity will be okay for a while.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
they're
think
showing
I was going to say what I might do is the night before the 21st, like maybe even Friday night or something, just drive up East Camino Cielo and see what it looks like. around that time.
Or Sunday night,
What's
Yeah.
that? What's that circle with the pie shape in it? What does that represent? Is that a wind direction or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob, are you talking about that that site up there where they have the pay telescope? Or it's a big parking lot, like kind of like a visitors area?
Oh no, I just meant like drive up there and then just find, when you kind of are zigzagging through the hills, there are a lot of pullouts there. And I don't know if like a cop would pull over and say, you can't be doing this or whatever, because technically, I think even if you pull over there and just start hiking around in the hills, you need the adventure pass, with a Los Padres thing. And so, I mean, what are they going to say? All they can say is pack it up and go home, but so.
Yeah, because I was looking for a spot when we had the comet, and I saw this parking lot, like some kind of parking trails and stuff.
Oh,
If you're going towards Santa Ynez from Santa Barbara, it's on the right-hand side. And so there was quite a few people there looking at the comet, and they hike up this trail, and it's sort of southwest facing. And there's actually one of those cheapo, pay telescopes.
oh, that's that lookout point. I know what you're talking about, right after you go over the top of 154 and you're coming down.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to actually turn right on East Camino Cielo and go about 3, 4, 5 miles in. I think first you kind of go through some trees and stuff, but then eventually it gets open at the top there.
Yeah, I used
Yeah,
to
Takes
ride
you a little
up there.
higher up.
Yeah.
We've been up there. It's if you go past, you go East Camino Cielo from the 154, and you go driving past the Painted Cave intersection, and you keep going another couple miles. There's like a water cistern area, a little perk turn off that's a little kind of a high curb up there, but it's like the highest point pretty much, and it's good if you can get above some foggy type situation, but these clouds seem to be like high cirrus clouds and things.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, it's so funny. I go out and I look out at night, I look up and I go, I can't see stars. And then you look really close and I go, oh yeah, there are clouds up there. They're just so homogeneous. It's kind of hard to tell, so.
Yeah,
That's what we've been getting lately, is like this haze, high level haze.
Yeah.
So it's just wiping out anything below 5th magnitude, really.
I took out my camera to try and get the meteor shower last night, and I got a good time-lapse movie of those clouds going over.
It's so funny. We're trying to look at other planets, and then, if we had, infinitely perfect telescopes, we'd see clouds on the other planets and we'd be in heaven. But when we see clouds on our planets, we don't like it.
Yeah, we're still trying to develop a nebula filter for these clouds.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's called radio waves.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It just seems like I just don't want to miss the opportunity to, try to make an effort to get some good shots of that, but who knows, I shot here. I wasn't going
I'm
to
going to be
this,
going
but,
up to the hills, the Montezuma Hills. And the last time I did that, the farmers came by just because one of their sheep got out, and then they saw us there and they thought we were a bunch of druggies. And so I showed them the telescope and we had a really great talk. Oh yeah, come back again, So that's where I'm going. So I'll have a wide angle field of view showing some windmills, wind turbines in the forefront. So
is this sharing properly now?
We're just seeing your file explorer. You need to go to you need to reshare, I think, the photo.
Yeah, double click on that.
Thought I had. That's what I did before. Is that?
It doesn't do anything.
I think you'll have to stop sharing that one and share a different screen that shows the zoom.
Okay.
So try.
Double click on it, then share it.
You'll see a different window with that photo in it.
Yeah, that's what, the oddest thing when I said click share screen. Oh, there we go. Now, okay, it wasn't even showing that window. Now it's probably working.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what this was I was just trying to shoot with my DSLR, get, Saturn and Jupiter, but I was doing lower exposures, and I got them both in the frame, obviously not that good, but I at the end, just for the heck of it, I took 1 second exposures, and I didn't even know it, but then I came inside and I go, oh, I got the moons.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. And these are just, hot pixels and stuff, I think.
Yeah, the red things are hot pixels.
Yeah. But it was just kind of fun, to do this. And so.
Very good job. Nice.
Yeah, it was just, it was just a quick thing. It's kind of funny. Like a lot of times whenever I'm shooting something, I go, oh, this is probably a bad idea. I'm going to go high gain and, low exposure or this or that when I'm doing shark cap, but you just explore around and then, I take some notes, and then later I look at it and go, wow, that worked.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
Take
good
everything and throw the bad ones away later.
yeah, exactly.
Well, taking notes.
And what?
It's good that you're taking notes, because if it works, it's usually the one you hadn't planned on.
Yeah. And then
So if you have the notes, then you can say, oh, okay, I'll try that again at 3.5 with,
I usually try and put that
1/1000th.
I usually try and put the exposure and the gain in the name, so I know what I'm looking at when I take a sequence.
Yeah. I'm trying to show this Pix Insight. I've been playing around with that a little bit too.
How's that going?
It is a really complex piece of software. I mean, just unbelievably complex. So, here, let me try this.
You have a book on it?
There we go. So,
you have a book on it?
I don't have a book. I haven't even really looked at the online stuff, but I've looked at YouTube, and there are some really good videos on it.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of stuff.
I mean, like process here, I think this is even just part of the processing things, but like this one, this is shared now, right? Isn't it? You guys can see it?
Yeah, we can see it. We can see the
So this is the
Orion.
Andromeda, and you do this.
M42.
Yeah.
You do this histogram stretch, and then I'll tell you, I mean, I'm an engineer, and it's like, this is going to take me years to learn stuff that's in this thing, There's a whole work thing that you go through with stretching the images and just this mass generation stuff. And I don't know, it's just, everybody has their own way to do this, but I'm just playing around with it with some of the images. And so Andromeda, this stuff, it's not too sharp on the stars or anything. This is unstacked. This is just one individual image. And so I'm gonna start.
Have you ever processed images manually with any software before, or has it always been automatic software?
Yeah, I've done manually with like GIMP, just using it like
Photoshop.
Yeah, like Photoshop,
Yeah, okay.
and played around with that. But I like the idea that this thing has, each one of these things is like a different algorithm that this guy wrote. Yeah. And just some amazing stuff, that's again specific towards astrophotography. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is that histogram stretch thing. It just blows out Mars there. But
well, you can control that so it doesn't blow out.
Yeah, and actually, even in this one, when you blow it out like this, you can keep that histogram stretch and have it fix itself in certain images, or with different filters and things you apply to it. But I've just got, I don't know, so many. Yeah, I'm getting really good at taking all these different pictures and everything, but not necessarily in processing them, because that's where the work is. So all my pictures are stacking up. But
have you needed to get a new hard drive or an external drive yet?
No, you know what I did? I bought this computer that I'm on right here that has an SSD. Came with like just a 128 megabyte. I'm sorry, gigabyte SSD, which was not enough at all. And so what I did is I got some software that I had to buy. I thought it was going to be free online, but I had to buy it. It wasn't that much, where I could clone the drive up to a 500 gig SSD, and I replaced that SSD. And then this thing came. It was $500. It's an older Dell, but $500, and it had a 1 terabyte regular hard drive, not an SSD. So I put all the images on the 1 terabyte. And then I've got various USB 4 terabyte ones that if I wanted to, run them through the USB port. But so yeah. Anyway, I got just a bunch of stuff going there, so kind of fun.
I'm on my second 2 terabyte drive.
Yeah, I've got a 2 terabyte and 2 4 terabytes, and this 1 terabyte on here. So it's like. And yeah.
Well, I need a petabyte drive.
Yeah. Yeah. They keep getting just cheaper and cheaper. Costco got like 5 terabyte for I think $75 or something now.
Yeah, that's what I got. And this was a little pricey. This was a 1 gigabyte SSD from.
Or 1 terabyte, you mean?
Yeah, one terabyte. And
Why'd you put a hole in it?
This is the way it came. But this is the one thing that kind of disappoints me is that in the beginning it's super fast and then it slows down because I guess it heats up inside and it tends to slow down in the file transfer. And it's USB 3.
Yeah, one thing I'm doing and I haven't done yet, I've got at least 3 different USB ports on here, but I think at least one of them is USB 2. So and I'm not sure which one it is. So I want to make sure I'm plugging, USB 3 into 3 because it'll work on the 2, but it'll cut it way down. So, but I was almost out of space on the SSD drive, which was the 500 gig drive. And it was because I set Sharp Cap up to go to a folder that was on my desktop that was main drive. So I moved that over to the terabyte, and then deleted it. But it took probably about, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours to copy all the files over.
I know your pain.
That was okay with me. I didn't mind that. I got it all copied over. But
with Planet stuff, you know how you help that? You do an ROI as small as you can, region of interest.
Yeah,
that cuts it down. But
so Tim, can you hear us? Tim Crawford, is that you? Your microphone's not muted, so I think Tim is trying to use an older XP laptop with Zoom on it, so has to turn on the right microphone.
Talking very slowly.
Yeah.
Kevin disappeared for a second. So what else was there to discuss? Tim was going to show us Ronkigram, but he's not doing video at this point.
Oh, I got a question for Jerry. You're talking about the software you're using for 3D editing. Which version of it were you using?
For what?
The inexpensive one or the expensive one?
I don't know I didn't hear the question.
The 3D software, the drawing program you were using for modeling your parts.
TurboCAD.
TurboCAD. But which one?
TurboCAD, yeah. Which one? I think it was 19 or 20 or 21 or something like that.
Okay, so, okay.
Let's see if I can find the book.
So
But there's several versions.
Yeah, Jerry turned on, put on the chat screen. You can, if you turn on chat, you can see people putting myself and Jerry putting on web links, just in case anybody wants to do that. I tend to take the chats and I tend to put them in the comments on the YouTube website. I'll put those comments in with the web links. So hopefully people can see that in the future.
Yeah.
Has anybody gone to the YouTube website, SB Astro Unit, and looked at the past meetings?
At the what meeting?
The past meetings that I
past
posted.
meeting. Yeah, I thought.
Past,
Okay, yeah, I haven't. No.
I did one a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping it'll be useful. We get lots of hits there, at least 2 or 3. So.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a lot. I had a meeting last night for my astronomy club, and I think we had 11 members that showed up.
That's good. Yeah.
It is.
Did you do a presentation?
Yeah, I can show you what I did.
That might be entertaining. Jerry's still looking for.
Hey, I have version 20 of TurboCAD.
Okay, but is it the professional? Is it
Yeah, it's the professional, elite, platinum, whatever they put on the end.
Oh, okay, so that's the expensive one. Okay.
Yeah.
What do they charge?
There are things like screw holes that it makes automatic for you. It puts the threads in. If you have to do it manually, it'll drive you to spend any amount of money to get the next level up.
Okay.
So does it make, when you put in like 2D drawings of your object, does it automatically give you a 3D picture if you want?
You write a palette and you generate the document in 3D, but one 2D screen at a time. You can make like a graph paper, and you can look at it at any angle you want. I usually look at it at a tilt thing and put a square on that graph paper, and then you can touch the square and you can project it up, and it makes a solid, a wire diagram of the solid. And then you start making holes in it and drag the hole to make it, I forget the word they use for it, progress in that dimension, and it makes a hole through the thing. And then anything that you make like that, it will automatically illuminate it any way you want and make it solid or stick-like or whatever you want.
They must charge what, $200 or $300 for that program?
I don't think it was that expensive. I think it was $150.
It's a lot now, I think.
It's what?
Yeah, I checked it, and they really want you to subscribe to it now, like everybody.
Yeah,
else.
I went around and collected a lot of the software that I knew I would use and wanted before because everybody went in one wave to all these subscription things. And when I went to get Photoshop 6, I got one of the last 4 copies in the US that was on a diskette. And then I have that on my machine here. Plus, I'm also running Windows 7 Home Pro, and that's on. I'm not upgrading that to Windows 10 or anything. So
okay,
far,
I'm here.
Subscribe to anything.
We see it, Tim.
Finally, I had a horrible time with the computer for some reason. I can hear you guys. I can see everything. I have a lot more controls, but I can't talk to you. I don't understand that.
We can
turn your microphone on somehow.
Well, no. Well, maybe that's it. But I mean, I just plugged it into the earphone jack, and I have the earphones that have the mic in it. So is there something I'm supposed to turn on? I don't know.
I don't know. Sometimes if you just plug mic, how do you plug your headphone microphone in? Just into the headphone port, and it works for the microphone too?
Well, unfortunately, I got the wrong. I'm using my computer's microphone right now. Let me go and put the other cable.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out somehow. But for right now, I'm fine. I'm finally here. It was kind of weird.
So Tim, that thing Tom said earlier, I just learned this today, if you scroll over to the lower left corner where it says mute, and don't click the mute, but click the arrow next to it, it'll expand up. It'll show you what microphone and speakers you're using.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll do that. I'm not going to mess with it now because I've switched over to the iPad, but I'll try it again another time. But for right now, I don't have to share a screen or anything. I have one small thing to add tonight. That's it. So
Let me know, Tim, if you ever want to practice, and I could start a meeting, and you could log in and we could practice.
I will do that, because I want to be able to share a screen. And the problem is most of the stuff I have is on my iPad that I want to share. So I'm going to have to, send it to the laptop so I can actually use it. I mean, to the computer, so I can actually use the images. But for tonight, I don't need to do that. So sorry to interrupt. You guys go ahead. I'm all set.
No worries.
Finally here.
So Mike, you were asking about TurboCAD. Jerry talked about TurboCAD.
Yeah.
And what was next?
That's
And
about,
show and tell.
I could, I don't have.
Did you
anything-
talk about your black paint?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mike and Tim, I'm recording this, so I'll post it on YouTube, and you can see that website. Actually, I kind of posted the website in the last time on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
If you go to our webpage, SBAU.org, and you click on the picture in the upper left, or the line underneath, you can go to the YouTube site where it's SB Astro Unit, and that's where I've been posting our recordings of our telescope workshops and past meetings.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that.
This is a card I painted with it super bright on my face,
okay.
and
I was going to do
that sample you just showed us. Could you flip that so that we're looking at it with a angle of incidence of about 1 or 2 degrees? No, that's about 90 degrees. Yeah. But with a light in the background, but now bring it down so we're glancing off it at 1 or 2 degrees. Rotate. Keep going. No, the other way. Yeah, keep going.
Make it thin as possible.
oh, thin as possible.
Yeah, there. That's about a 1 degree. Yeah. So that looks kind of gray greenish, not black.
Yeah, but it's super bright. I mean,
it's super. Okay.
It's
I mean,
probably just his webcam too is picking
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
The only comment I have on all this stuff is that when I blackened the inside of the tube I had, the only comment I heard online is if you're going to be using a spray paint, which I like doing because you don't have to brush it on, and you take a garbage bag and just cover your arm so you're not going to breathe all that paint in, and you buy the cheapest, flattest black paint you can. Generally speaking, the cheapest paint, according to the thing I saw that I read, this guy said if you get the cheapest flat black you can get, it tends to really suck up the light, and it's a great way to go. So just a tip for what this guy who tried a lot of different paints said. The better quality.
Just wear one of these while you're doing it.
Yeah.
What's that? The spray?
Yeah, so while you're spraying, we're ready to go with this, so.
Yeah.
You
want the good mess that they say to give to everybody.
2 filters on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nasty. When I was done, and I had the garbage bag up to my arm, and I'm F5 tube, for the 8-inch, and I'm just reaching in, and I was surprised that I didn't have to go that far in to really spray the entire tube from each side, and still a lot of stuff got out, and a lot of stuff got on my skin. It was not so nice. So you can feel it. So you're right.
Yeah.
Tim, this was a website that had the black paint on it.
Oh.
Almost looks like makeup.
When I make my telescopes, I use the same technique that Teleview uses. I coat it with a flocking material from Protostar. And
have you ever tried crushed walnut?
Crushed walnut?
Right. You can take your black paint and coat your tube, and then just sprinkle the crushed walnut in. let it kind of set a little bit, and then coat it again. And it has all this different facets on the walnut, so it scatters any light, incident light that's in the tube.
Yeah, that would be a good absorber.
Yeah.
So I'm showing a 13.5-inch telescope that was used evidently for NASA $20,000 telescope that someone's trying to sell for $1,000 in Huntington Beach. It looks very short, like maybe 3 foot long. So it must have the focal length must be really short, I would guess. And 2-inch thick, 1.5-inch thick mirror at least. And I don't think it has a focuser on the side. You have to they're trying to show the.
So it was a Newtonian.
Yeah.
Why does it have that flat side on it?
Yeah, I don't know what it's. They're saying it says Pro Research Grade Telescope, and the length is 38.5 inches for a 13.5-inch diameter mirror.
Maybe
90
it's part of a payload.
That's really fast. Really fast.
So
That's going to be about an F2 something, F3 at the most, probably F2 something.
It says it was an accessory for a spectrometer for monitoring various environmental activities.
Am I imagining it, or is that a tapered tube?
No, that's just looking down the tube. I don't think it's tapered.
Okay. That looks like it's tapered.
Yeah, tapered.
You know what the problem is you need a $10,000 mount to hold it, because that's 90 pounds.
Yeah, 90 pounds.
I mean, it's a 13.5 inch, and it's and what is it? 13 inches long?
No, 38 inches. 38.5.
Oh, okay.
It's built like a tank to,
I just thought I was looking for telescopes on Craigslist, and I there's nothing in town really. I came across this, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Not sure what end we're looking at here. I guess this is the open end.
Yeah, that's really weird, because I mean, why would if that's
a cover.
Maybe is that a cap?
It's probably a cover they secure.
Yeah.
No, I think that's open actually. Well, maybe not. Let me see.
So
That looks like a reflection.
That's almost exactly an F3.
F3, okay.
Here's that end, the open end,
Mhm.
with the spider there.
Well, it's really built well.
It looks like it might have a dovetail system on this other side there.
Look at the handles on it. It's definitely a 2-man lift.
Yeah. That's heavy. That's really heavy. The last time we met, you guys were talking about these cave mirrors, and the first time I joined the club, Joe Doyle had a 12.5-inch cave mirror, and it was in a fiberglass tube. And at the end of the night, it was the very first time I came to a star party, and he showed me the veil from the pit. And I was going, wow, that's really neat. Can I help you tear it down? He goes, sure. It would really help me to lift it and put it in the car. I didn't know what I was saying. That thing was, it was at least about 125 pounds. And I called it the beast. It was the beast. It's nasty stuff. By the way, the one thing I have to offer up tonight is I ran into John Boyd out at Costco, and he's our solar guy. And he was talking about, like me, with all the tennis I've been doing, I have a lot of shoulder pain, and getting older, it's pretty tough. And the bigger scopes are getting harder and harder to lift. Jerry, you know this one. It's just getting harder and harder to use. So he was talking about, I told him about the Zoom meeting, and I thought he'd be here tonight, but he was talking about looking for a refractor. And I was hoping to get him involved with you guys, because you can really offer up some good ideas for him. He's looking to maybe get around a 4 to 5 inch refractor. And I'm sure he's going to do the solar with it. I'm sure he is. but he just can't use
He's got a very nice 80 millimeter hydrogen alpha solar scope.
He's got a couple now.
Yeah.
And
I think one is just a 80 millimeter with a filter on it, so he can take the filter off, and he's got an excellent refractor.
well, that's an idea. And he's double stacked. At least one of them, he's double stacked.
Yeah.
But he's talking about a refractor so he can go out either at night or day. I don't know what it is, Jerry, but he's talking about he was talking about a Williams Optics 103 to 115, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a 4 to 5 inch refractor. And I tried to tell him to come to the meeting so you guys would be able to offer up a lot of good ideas on where to go on that stuff.
Well, that scope you outlined is a good scope. Williams Optics, it's a triplet. It's going to cost him.
Well, the other options are horrible, like with Takahashi. I mean, God, Takahashi gets you coming and going.
Not only they're expensive, they're very heavy too.
Yeah.
They're about 30 or 40 pounds.
And he really wants something light. I mean, he said he's been swimming his entire life, and it's just now that it's catching up with him. So he can't use like what I don't know if he has a C8, C11. I don't know what it is, but he just can't pick it up anymore. And I think a lot of us are going through that right now. I'm using my TV 101 more and more. The scope I built, it's getting harder to lift.
It's very light. The new Celestron SE style telescopes. One was donated to the local library, and that's about 25 pounds with the tripod. And it's a 8-inch SET go-to.
Wow.
The only thing is that I think for me, the tripod's a little flimsy, but the telescope part itself is not that heavy at all. So, and it goes together in pieces, like a 10-pound piece, a 5-pound piece, that type of thing. So,
one of the, I don't think it would fit John really well, but Harry Albert.
Is he a refractor guy?
No, am I thinking Harry Alberts? No, Albert High.
Oh,
He's the guy that had MS, and he made all these huge telescopes. He'd written some really big volume books on making Dobbs. And one of the books he read, I haven't seen it yet, is called String Telescope. So that he puts these huge mirrors in telescopes that are super light. And I talked with him on the phone one time, and I was telling him about the 10-inch that I built. You guys seen me with the 10-inch, and he said, "Oh hell, I have a 22-inch scope where the lower optical assembly weighs as much as your box. It's the same thing. It's twice. It's 22 inches versus your 10, and it's that light because he's looked into materials and how to lighten everything up."
Have you heard about him lately or anything?
I haven't. I really. It would really be neat to talk with him again, because that guy is a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, with having that MS, he has to be able to build light, and he doesn't want to grind any optics. He doesn't want to do all that stuff. He just wants to put it together. And having to be in the wheelchair for a lot of the time, he's going to get out of his van, launch that thing, bring it down out of the van, put it on the ground, put the thing together, and be able to be sitting there next to it. And I've seen him do that with 20-inch, a 20-inch scope. I mean, it's phenomenal. So there's that's one there, isn't it?
Yeah. This is Albert High's book there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fantastic. And I'll never forget him up at Lake San Antonio telling me to. He just goes, "Go ahead and just stand up to the eyepiece." And it was I think it was a 22. It was a 20 or 22. I thought it was 22.
Huh.
And he said, "Just stand flat on your feet and look through the eyepiece." And all of a sudden I was looking, and I said, "I'm kind of looking uphill." It was a tilted diagonal. And you could stand on flat-footed with the 22-inch scope and see everything. at zenith. And that was a mind blower to me, because he could literally take that thing apart, put it back in his van himself, something else. But you know, for John, people like him, I don't know, Jerry, about you, but me, I'm getting to the point where I can't lift this stuff anymore.
Well, it is getting, I'm noticing it, but I make things to help me lift it. I don't carry things around. I put them on wagons and garden carts and move them that way.
I think that's an excellent idea. I saw that lady, what was her name? And Duff and
Teresa? Oh, no.
Tessa
You know,
Flanagan.
yeah. And they
Tessa
come to the
Flanagan.
and they bring this little scope down the driveway in a cart, and it's I really wish I would look into that, because you know, it just makes everything so much easier.
It's, I do have a question. How do you go about making those round parts? Is that with a router that they made the big bearings with?
Yes, and probably. And so what if you're referring to his picture in the string scopes,
Yeah.
You do, and I think Mike, what you want to do those things there are really cut with a router, and you can make one huge ring and then cut it in half, and so now you've got each side, and they're gonna mate up really well.
But how do you attach a router? What type of mechanism do you use for that?
Okay, you want to purchase or build a circle cutter, and preferably if you have a router that's a plunge router, that's really the way to go, Mike, because every time you lower that, you don't want to take your straight bit and cut through, like, say 3/4 inch plywood.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it in one single pass. You want to do it in by dropping that bit about 3 different times.
Okay, so you have, okay, I understand that, but the mechanism, is it, how do you attach it to your router, the circle cutter?
Here's what you do. You can do this simply out of plywood if you really want to do it cheaply. Take a piece of plywood, like a 1/4 inch plywood, and cut it out with your jigsaw or coping saw, whatever. Make it so you can attach it to your router base. And then there's a tongue of the plywood that comes out. Now you want to drill a 1/4 inch hole at your radius, your exact radius you want to use. And so that's now attached. You have the base attached to your router with the 1/4 inch plywood on the base, and the plywood tongue that comes out with a 1/4 inch hole in it. Then on your plywood you're going to use, you want to drill a little 1/4 inch hole and probably glue a little dowel, a 1/4 inch dowel in there. And you could put some kind of a 1/4 inch fixture down there. And now what you're seeing right there is a really wonderful picture of something that I actually kind of have, a circle cutter that's like that. Matter of fact, that may be it. It's mine's not as easy as this, but see in the center there's a 1/4 inch hole that goes into the center of the board. Right. And then you set that radius, and then the key here is to have a router that has a plunge base, because every time you lower it a step, if you don't use a plunge router, when you screw that router down a bit, it creates a different micro radius. And so you're going to have all these steps in the cuts that you're doing. So the plunge base, the beauty of it is, as you drop that from step to step, it's just a little mechanism at the bottom of the base of your router, and you just turn this little gizmo at the bottom, and it drops your router down 1-2 steps, and it doesn't change the position of the outer radius. And the key, one final thing I want to tell you here in a word of, there's the one I built for myself, except I just don't even attach it to the plastic. I just attach the plywood to the bottom of the router base. That router behind him there is actually the bigger router. I have a 690 router, which is very, very typical router for Porter Cable. And that it might be a 690. Anyway, that base there is the kind that you unscrew it and lower it by screwing the entire top of the rider down. You don't want that because it creates steps in the outside wall. If you do that, you can still get it done by just sanding out all those little steps there. But really important, Mike, is when you cut these, don't cut all the way around the circle. You only cut, you leave bridges of wood in at least 2 spots, maybe 3. So when you're looking at this picture here, imagine you're cutting the circle on the inside of that round board. So as you're cutting around, if you cut all the way around, all of a sudden it releases, and you don't want that to happen. I did that one time out on the patio with Jeremy, and man, it just explodes. It's going 22,000 RPM, and it releases, and that blade hits the plywood that's now free, and everything explodes. It's not a real fun experience. But if you leave a little bridge of wood, it's really easy at the end of that. Once you go through all the layers of the plywood, you take a little coping saw or jigsaw and you cut off the little bridges, and now you've got your free rings. Today, the reason I was so late tonight is I'd worked all day getting rid of this lumber on the top of a room on top of on top of some cabinets, and it was just covered with all this old wood. And I dug out of there a bunch of rings that were used for upper cages. And if anybody wants those, let me know, because I've got like 2 different sets of those around 12.5 to 13 inches. And they're already pre-cut. But they're fairly old, but they're still very, very usable. And to cut those, Mike, you really want to adhere to what I was saying.
Yeah.
See how he's cut? See on the dead center on the bottom there where he's cut that hole? Now it's in the very center of that's it right there. If you don't build a bridge of wood in that circle, and here it shows that he hasn't done that, I don't care who you are, that's going to blow up. You just don't want that to happen. And the only reason it wouldn't happen is if he has screwed down the outer circle and the inner circle so that they're just down on another piece of board.
Right.
What I do is I adhere the inner piece of the circle. If you're going to be cutting rings, you can go ahead and attach wood screws to that inner circle and not worry about those, because you're going to throw that piece out anyway, and that keeps that thing set. But what you don't want to do is let that outer ring. You don't want to let it loose.
Right.
So.
Right.
I don't know if that answers a lot of it.
Yeah, it does. I guess I'm gonna have to get one of those. I have the wrong kind, and it's an old Craftsman, and it's
Rockler makes a pretty good circle cutting jig. I can take a picture and send it to you what I've got. And it's a little bit of a hassle to use, but once you get it working right, it works wonderful. But that little base with the plywood, I did my entire scope with that 10-inch scope, just using that little 1/4-inch plywood base. And every time I would change a radius, I would just drill another 1/4-inch hole. Now you would probably say, oh, well, you can't do that, Tim, because every time you drill a hole, you're going to be overlapping those holes. No, don't worry about it. Just offset the holes right or left on that tongue of plywood that comes out from the center. You can put any 1/4-inch hole. It doesn't have to be in the midline of that tongue of wood. It can be off to the right, off to the left. So you can cut several radiuses until you finally get the one you really want. And it really works good. It's cheap and it's very effective. The only key that you really want is that plunge base. That's a must.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take a look. You think Harbor Freight would have a halfway decent one for me to use?
Maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, everybody's got a plunge base. That everybody makes one. What kind of router do you have?
The old router I have is an old like a 40-year-old Sears Craftsman. That's the screw thing, and it's not very accurate. It's pretty sloppy and all that. And,
Finding a plunge base for that may be difficult.
So does everybody know what's going on in this cartoon here?
No.
Yeah.
It took me a while to figure out what was going on.
Crop circles.
Yeah.
Crop circle.
Oh.
oh, jeez.
You got it right away.
But it's like here we think they have high tech. They're doing it. They're doing it low tech too.
Jerry shared that.
That's a good one.
I like it.
You know what the characteristic I was hearing about what humor is? It's sometimes it's sadness or something that happens bad, but you have a twist at the end. And this has got the twist, where it's from left field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's the key thing of a lot of humor is that it leads you in one way, and then all of a sudden it's going orthogonal to that, and you didn't expect the turn.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to lie to get to be funny. Yeah.
Well, yes, there are odd situations. One of my favorite jokes of all time was one that Robin Williams told, and he said that a friend of his was killed by a falling pig during the swine flu epidemic.
I always like the one that billboards up. It says psychic fair closed due to unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, I think my time is up.
Yeah, we're there.
Sorry I came late, guys.
Okay, fun to see you all anyway.
Okay.
Think about show and tell for next time.
Yeah,
Will do.
I'll dig up my movie of Albert High.
Good luck on the conjunction, everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, here are our results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll come out grammatically correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
See you all
All right,
later.
good night.
Okay, bye.
I'm ending.